Hello, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from whichever time zone you are viewing from. So, welcome again to our channel, EdTech Society All Learners. So, as we are covering the different topics for enterprise architecture for TOGAF 10, which consist of both your foundation and practitioner exam. So, we have covered many topics in our discussion and in our one of the last discussion where we started with some of the additional topics and small items. So with continuity to that discussion, today we are going to cover the architecture principles. So what is architecture principles? So architecture principles are a set of principles that relate to your architecture work. They reflect a level of consensus across the enterprise and embody the spirit of and thinking of existing enterprise principles. Architecture principles govern the architecture process, affecting the development, maintenance, and use of the enterprise architecture. So, friends, this particular topic, architecture principle, is a small topic, but it is rather very important, and you might get a kind of, I would say, more than one question during your foundation exam. So, please prepare it very well and build your concept and get ready for your exam with this particular concept. So, architecture principle, it should address following purposes. The items are below, like enabling the decision making, which is very important to set precedents during trade-off discussion and authority of tie breaking if it must occur. Then aligning the enterprise. Principles take subjectivity and bias out of the equation and drive critical conversation that are objective and aligned to enterprise values. Third, ensuring governance. How will the enterprise ensure that the right decisions are surfaced at the right time and with the right decision makers. And moreover, how to monitor the decisions and approach taken to arrive at the decision. Then, understanding values and cultures provide a better understanding about the enterprise culture and values, provide an approach and insight into how well the enterprise reacts to change. Now, the last but not the least, architecture principles are developed by enterprise architects in conjunction with key stakeholders, the CIO, architecture board, business stakeholders, and approved by architecture board. So these are the kind of purposes of architecture principles. Next, the one of the important aspect of architecture principle is the five qualities. The five qualities are as follows: understandable, robust, complete, consistent, and stable. Now, the names are already self-explanatory, but still we'll go through all these five qualities. Sorry. First is understandable. The underlying tenets can be quickly grasped and understood by individuals throughout the organization. The intention of the principle is clear and unambiguous, so that violations, whether intentional or not, are minimized. Then robust, enable good quality decisions about architectures and plans to be made, and enforceable policies and standards to be created. Each principle should be sufficiently definitive and precise to support consistent decision making in complex, potentially controversial situations. Complete. Every potentially important principle governing the management of information and technology for the organization is defined. The principles cover every situation perceived. Then consistent. Strict adherence to one principle may require a loose interpretation of another principle. The set of principles must be expressed in a way that allows a balance of interpretation. Principles should not be contradictory to a point where adhering to one principle would be violated to the spirit of another. Every word in a principle statement should be carefully chosen to allow consistent yet flexible interpretation. Stable. Principles should be enduring yet able to accommodate changes. An amendment process should be established for adding, removing, or altering principles after they are ratified initially. So these are the five qualities: understandable, robust, complete, consistent, and stable. And the next topic is components of the architecture principles. So it is useful to have a standard way of defining principles. In addition to a definition statement, each principle should have associated rational and implication statement, both to promote understanding and acceptance of the principles themselves and to support the use of principles in explaining and justifying why specific decisions are made. So these four primary components of architecture principles are name, statement, rational, and implications. Now, name is anyway self-explanatory. Do not mention any specific technology and should be unambiguous. Statement, it should succinctly and unambiguously communicate the fundamental rule, unambiguously communicate fundamental rule or principle. Rational. Business benefits of adhering to the principle should describe relation to other principles. One principle would be given precedence over another. And then implications. Highlight requirements for the business and IT for carrying out the principle, business impact and consequences of adopting the principles. So these are the four components of principle. And friends, as we have highlighted and kept it in bold font. These particular words, phrase, or the text are very important for your understanding, and you might get direct questions from this keyword during your foundation exam. So please focus on these areas which we have highlighted in our slides and during discussion, and definitely it will help you to achieve both the foundation and the practitioner exam, as we have described multiple times. So, with my friend and colleague Arijit Chaudhary, myself Shayan Gushait, we are trying to cover the different topics and concept of TOGAF 10 enterprise architecture in our channel, EdTech Society All Learners. So, friends, please stay tuned and subscribe, like, and share our videos and provide your comments and suggestions in different videos and contents as you go through in the channel. Thank you and have a good rest of the day.